Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today, after a few months away from this game, we got back to Pandemic Legacy.
Season 1.
Yes, and...
So we played the month of April in this one.
Yes.
And up to this point, we had been flawless. We had won January, February, and March.
Yes, with almost no outbreaks at all.
Yeah, I
think
believe
maybe
it was...
one per one, almost.
I think we had 3 going into this game.
Mm-hmm. And we're sad to report we suffered our first loss.
Yes.
It was not good. It was looking good. Very, very good.
It was looking very good.
Right off the bat. But it quickly things escalated. I actually thought at one point we were maybe going to not even trigger the thing that gave us this card, the next card. Yep. But we did. We definitely did trigger that. And we will get into that. But I forgot to mention, spoilers.
Spoilers. Big spoilers.
Big spoilers, potentially. Definitely big spoilers.
Yes, this was an eventful month.
Yes. So
to start it off, we brought Gus back, recurring character, Gus Smiley.
And we actually used the scientist and gave her the name Shirley Temple.
Yes.
And they became co-workers.
Co-workers. So with the co-worker relationship, it says, you may share knowledge with a co-worker as long as one of you is in the city of the card that is being passed.
Yeah, and since the scientist only needed 4 of the same color to discover a cure, we thought that'd be a good one for her.
Yeah, that and, well, he can move pretty freely from structures to any city. So we thought that was a pretty good combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right off the bat, we didn't really need the combo for this necessarily, but I actually had 4 yellow cards in my hand, so I was able to almost immediately cure Pikachu.
Pikachu, the yellow virus.
The yellow virus, and there was only 1 cube of that out on the entire board.
Yes.
So we were able to get rid of that completely, eradicate it very quickly. So that was one of our goals. And pretty much the other one, which was mandatory, is that we had to cure the first 3. For us, it was the Pikachu for the yellow, Pop Tongue for blue, and then Betty for the black virus. And we're not able to do anything with the red one.
Yes, we're not able to cure it or treat it. We just got to manage it, likely with these quarantine tokens.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was going pretty well, I thought. Yeah. And black had kind of
Black started off pretty populated. There was quite a few black cubes, as well as some blue over in Madrid and Paris. So we cured yellow on your first turn, and then we went and started taking care of black and blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mainly blue in that area of Europe, and then we were going over to black and kind of curing that away.
Yeah,
and I think that actually had an outbreak. Black did.
Yes.
We weren't able to get there quick enough.
Luckily, we weren't in the city, so we did not get a scar.
That is true. But yes, it led to it must have been our 4th at the time. Yep. One of our outbreaks, and added that sticker to that place.
And by the time we were kind of moving over there, red started getting kind of out of hand there. So we really tried to go over, and you were quarantining that area up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as I was doing that, we actually had our, was it 3rd epidemic or 2nd epidemic card?
Yep.
Which by the end of it kind of triggered that card where we had to read what the next thing to do was, and that was one of the more spoilery, exciting things, and it's that it brought the Faded into the game.
Came with there were a lot of stickers, a lot of rules, things like that.
Yeah, we had about 10 different things that we had to pick out.
Brought these sheets, which some of the cities can become faded cities, and we'll put those on there, as well as these little minis, faded, translucent green minis.
Yes.
And
I'm wondering if they're not kind of a reference to zombies, possibly.
They say they
Ghost
act
zombies.
aggressively. These faded do. So I'm thinking it's probably a little bit of a nod to that.
A little bit of a nod to zombies, and I believe it's now easier to get scars, because now whenever we add to where the Coda virus is, which are the red cubes, now we actually have to just add the faded markers instead.
And then, those cubes become faded, those cities become faded, and they will spread out and create more faded cities.
Yeah, and it can turn the other colored ones to faded immediately as well, so then they'll produce faded instead of the color they would have normally created. So that led to me wanting to quarantine a couple more areas in the red to really make sure that it didn't outbreak and become a huge thing. That was probably the point of the game where that was a mistake. I think that's where everything went wrong. Looking back at it, I could have left it, and we probably would have been fine. Maybe it would have eventually triggered.
Because the tokens are still there; they never hit.
Right. So, I think we would have probably been. What are the next?
Okay, maybe not.
So we would have hit.
We would have hit a couple.
We would have. We would have hit both.
Yeah.
So
maybe we wouldn't have been fine.
So it was about.
So we never actually ended up placing any faded. So we never got our City 0 here for the first one that gets placed.
Yes, because we were playing under the impression that you had to actually pull the red cards to trigger that.
Yeah.
Which we never had another one come up. Once we read that.
Yeah.
But that was mainly because of how quickly things escalated.
Yeah, so while we were way over here, things went south way over there.
Over near Atlanta and Washington.
Yes, those two right there.
Was pretty much where the major issues happened.
So we had pulled Atlanta, I believe, which had gotten that to 3 cubes.
Mm-hmm.
So we had maybe 4... cards in the discard pile, infection discard pile, and of course you didn't draw a single epidemic this whole game. I was the one drawing.
What can I say?
Seemed like it was my turn, epidemic, your turn, my turn, epidemic, your turn.
I know I did all the good stuff. You were trying to make us lose.
So we drew one, picked the card off the bottom. Of course, it was Washington connected to the already 3 cube Atlanta, and then we had to draw 3 cards. From that, which was, of course, Washington and Atlanta were in there. So those Washington hit, triggered itself, triggered Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. They had filled up Miami.
They had filled up Miami with 2 cubes then. Then we ended up drawing Atlanta, which, again, triggered Atlanta, triggered Washington. Washington had then had the 4th cube to Miami, so that triggered. And we had then quickly lost our reputation of getting very, very lucky in these games.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the low point of what we've had so far, for sure. Because that just totally went against us.
Yeah, because getting Atlanta to level 2 in panic. Because each time you get an outbreak, you increase the panic. That destroyed the
our base in Atlanta.
Yes, our base in Atlanta.
So now we have no influence over in North America or South America. So we're gonna have to try to get that.
So
back.
We can't even fly in there at this point to those Atlanta and Washington area.
Yeah, but then I had with the final turn of the game, I believe, I had went and I cured blue, and then I went over there hoping to get rid of the cubes, but I should have remembered that Cairo, which was at 3 cubes, had not been pulled yet, and then that was the card that I pulled, and
that gave us our
8th
outbreak.
So
it was a tough game, but it was nice to actually lose. I felt like we got a little too lucky in the previous games, but I feel like this might be almost too far the other way.
Right. The funny thing is, if people don't watch all the way, they're going to think probably that the faded are what caused our loss, but it really had nothing to do with them at all. It all happened over in Atlanta and Washington, which just out of nowhere just took off. I don't even know what happened.
was just
did not
unlucky
expect
'cause, yeah, we had gotten some yellow cards into the infection pile to cycle through. We were hoping that those would come up often, but the way the epidemic cards came out, they just never got out there.
No, they never did. They just kept pulling the black and, well, the blue ones for sure, and then the blacks and the reds. We're not getting lucky this time.
Nope.
But we're going to definitely try it again, and
we finally have funding, so we'll get to include some of those action cards. And we took our 2 upgrades. We made yellow. What was that?
Efficient to sequence. So before we just no longer needed to be in a research station to discover a cure for this disease, but now we no longer need to spend an action to discover a cure for this disease. So even though yellow didn't cause us any problems, we are going to make it even easier to defeat.
That's right. And with our other upgrade, we added an action to this Jakarta city card. That is Grassroots Program. The person who plays this card may discard up to 3 city cards, removing 1 cube matching the color of each card from anywhere on the board.
Yeah.
So I thought, since we haven't had a lot of action cards, access to them, since we plan to get back to our winning ways and won't have access to them, thought it'd be nice to get some actions on those cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we'll probably try to use the same people, maybe.
Yeah.
So wish us luck in our second and final attempt at April. We'll see what happens. I think now we're going to have to start with these in any red ones we pull. So
Yep.
it might get out of hand quickly. Wish us the best.
Our second go at April.
Our second go around. Were we able to do anything this time? And wait! There's spoilers.
Spoilers.
Potentially.
Yes.
Potential spoilers, but I think the biggest of those spoilers probably came with the last half of this month.
The last half of this month, yes.
That was the major spoiler of the Faded.
The zombies.
And oh boy, did they not really come into play this game too much. I think we got lucky.
Yeah.
Or not lucky, we planned well.
At setup, it looked like they were going to come into play. We had, I believe if we're playing it right, 5 cities infected that became Faded cities, just on the base setup. So that was tough. It looked pretty scary.
It did. I'm like, oh boy, if we start hitting the epidemic cards early and just keep hitting those, this is gonna turn into a big mess for sure. Because not only was it 5 of the cards, but most of them it seemed like were the 3s and 2s.
Yeah.
So it was pretty. There were quite a few of them out there right away. So we kind of knew we wanted to set up some quarantine zones right away.
Luckily, we had a research station to start in Hong Kong, so we went over there immediately and started building quarantine.
We started just building research stations all around. But no, we quarantined a lot of those zones.
Returning this game, they had unfinished business. The co-workers, Gus Smiley and Shirley Temple.
Going for round 2. They really wanted to beat the Faded and the game, and they pulled it off. Because I think what was it called? The main first zone. What did they call it?
The City Zero.
City Zero ended up for us being Seoul. So that was a little unexpected. I figured for sure it was going to be something right in the middle, like Ho Chi Minh City or something. I figured our luck.
Spread out.
I figured that's what would happen.
Yeah. But it might be worse being so out of the way.
That is true.
I'm not sure how it's going to come into play, what effects that will have. But hopefully we are prepared.
Yeah, and I think one thing we probably have to focus on is making sure we protect our thing in Hong Kong.
Our research station.
Yes, our research station at all costs, because I think if we lose that, that's not going to be good.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so we actually traded. So last time I played Shirley Temple, you played Gus Smiley.
Yep.
This time I played Gus Smiley, you played Shirley Temple.
And this time we won.
So apparently that's the way to play it. But yeah, what happened this time. I had a rainbow hand, so
yeah.
it really wasn't that great. I had one of each color.
Yeah, and I had 2 blues, I believe it was, and black and a red.
Mm-hmm. So we
not the best, but with our coworker ability and me only needing 4 cards, we really prioritized getting me the blue cards and whatever we needed at the time to cure.
Right. Yeah, the blue. Yeah. That was the one thing that we didn't have an upgrade on.
Yep.
Whereas the Pikachu yellow and the black both had the common structure where we no longer needed to be in a research station to discover a cure for a disease, and then the Pikachu actually no longer needed to spend an action to discover a cure for the disease.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, we were kind of, I think right away, like you said, we just put quarantine bases out on the few different areas that had 3 fadeds, and I think also 2 maybe, those spots that had 2s, just to kind of stop those from really spreading, making big problems for us, especially since, the one of them, we're just lucky that didn't come back up. Manila was connected over to Los Angeles, and that would not have been good, I don't think.
No, that would spread over into North America over there, and that's not what we need, especially since we no longer had a station of any kind, any structure over there.
Right, because with the first half of the month we destroyed our base in Atlanta, not intentionally, but we let it happen while we were over in Asia fighting the disease as best we could, and that just kind of got out of control quickly. Yeah. But then I think you all of a sudden drew a bunch of yellow cards in a row, so that was the first one you cured. But that one had also started to get a little
crazy. Santiago and Buenos Aires. Or no, Buenos Aires wasn't. Bogota and Mexico City, Miami, all of those started getting
2 to 3 cubes apiece.
Yeah.
That was...
You headed over there and tried to handle that situation. You ended up building a research station in Bogota, and I ended up curing that. And it really helped with our coworker ability. You were able to pass me some cards for just you being in that location.
Right, yeah. That definitely helped us a ton to be able to do that, passing those cards back and forth, and you only needing 4.
Yeah.
That was really, really big. I think these two combo together pretty well, especially since we gave them that coworker's ability.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, the only outbreak we had was with that yellow Santiago. Ended up outbreaking, but it only led to connected to 2 different cities, which we didn't have any problems with or hadn't drawn yet, so that wasn't really that big of an issue. And I had kind of cleared out Mexico City and Bogota. So we didn't really have it go any further than that for the yellow, because this actually went pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was.
It felt really dangerous, and then it really closed in fast.
It really feels like we got a handle of the situation.
Yeah, that's what we say until next month.
But yeah, so I mean, there's not a lot more to talk about. We ended up, eradicating black on the last. I mean, blue started getting a little. Didn't really get.
Yeah, that one didn't really have too many cubes.
Blue never really came up that much.
Right, and then you cured that, and I think we were going to eradicate that one because we only had 3 cubes out there.
Yeah, but black didn't have any cubes out either. So when we would cure it, we would get the eradication immediately to get that second objective that we needed. But then, of course, in the last round, we drew a black for Chennai, and I was all the way over in Algiers.
Right.
But luckily, I had 4 black cards in my hand, one of them being Chennai, and you had Algiers
in my hand.
Yes, so with our co-worker's ability, I was able to take that from you on my turn, then use my Chennai to fly to Chennai, clean up that 1 cube, and then cure and eradicate it
at the same time,
winning the game.
Which was pretty slick. It felt slick
because I feel like it could have been some bad stuff coming up.
Yeah, I
with
think
this red, those because we had wiped out some of our quarantine tokens on the level 3. Manila, Sydney now had 3, Seoul had 3. So I had a feeling like that was going to kind of get out of control soon.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling about it as well. If we would have had to, 'cause, I think the epidemic was coming up. we had actually gone a pretty decent amount of time, it seemed like, without an epidemic.
Yeah.
So I wonder, well, we would have had to shuffle it to see what would have happened. I don't know if it would have hit. We'd hit Moscow. That wouldn't have really been too big of a problem for us with what we had. And it felt like, right away, the Coda 403C felt like, oh no, the Faded are going to really take us. And I think if we'd have somehow hit those epidemics again early and hit all those same places again, it probably could have. It probably would have.
Yeah.
But luckily we didn't hit one for a while, and then we didn't hit one again.
Yeah. I feel like those are spread out enough, excuse me, so that we could go add quarantine tokens and then get out of those cities. Because if you begin your turn in a city with a Faded token, you gain a scar. So we were able to maneuver our way around there pretty easily to always end our turns outside of those cities with them in there.
Yeah. And we have yet to add a scar to a character, so I'm sure next month we will be adding some scars, maybe. But yeah, other than that, it went pretty smoothly. Nothing too big happened during this second half.
Yeah, with our rewards, we decided to get a research station over in Pagoda, since just to get something over on that side of the board.
Yep.
And as well, since he can build military bases pretty easily, and we thought these two comboed together pretty well. We decided to give her the veteran ability, which allows her to use the military shuttle ability, moving from those bases to others.
Right, yeah. We thought we're hoping that'll be a good combo.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe they'll both get killed in the next episode. But otherwise, if you've been watching to this point, thank you for watching this far. If you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up, and if you're really feeling generous, give Cookie a subscribe. She would really appreciate it. But otherwise, we will see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on that content.